Welcome back to Real Scent Review. This is your host, Joe. Thank you for tuning in once again tonight, or this morning, or this afternoon, whatever time it happens to be where you are. At the end of this video, if you've enjoyed it, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel so you can be notified whenever I release more material like this for you guys. And also, a like is always appreciated. So, tonight I have an interesting one for you guys. For those of you who are fans of Tuxedo by YSL, Yves Saint Laurent, I have a feeling you might just enjoy this one. And no, I'm not referring to Rochas Mustache Eau de Parfum, although that is also a very good one. Instead, I'm referring to Turathi Brown by Afnan. Yes, this used to be quite elusive in the past, however, now it is much easier to find and at a pretty good price, which I will get to later. So guys, Afnan Turathi Brown, I hope you enjoy. First off, I'm going to start with the presentation here. Now this box is very nice. I will admit it is made out of cardboard, but still, if you can see this, the presentation is just really beautiful here, very extravagant. They've really outdone themselves with the presentation of this. Another fragrance that comes in an almost identical presentation is Turathi's Blue, which is a rendition of Tiger by Bulgari, also by Afnan, Turathi Blue. They both come in this, you know, box, this exquisite box here with the Turathi logo in the front. However, yes, this is a rendition of Tuxedo by Yves Saint Laurent. So the first thing I will say about this box is this part here, the metallic part, this actually lifts up, as you can see. This part is very sharp, and it's made out of metal. It has a very sharp edge, almost like a razor blade. Don't make the mistake that I did. You will cut yourself if you hit it at the wrong angle. So just be mindful of this metal part in front here. It is very sharp. So opening the box now. As you can see, the bottle inside. And there's some writing in here on the inside of the box. So all in all, very nice presentation. Now I will say something about the bottle. The bottle itself is a little bit iffy. I mean, the design is nice enough. I think it looks quite nice. However, the problem lies with the cap. Not the cap itself, because the cap is very heavy duty. It's just, if you can see here, this jagged part has to line up with the jagged part around the outside edge. They have to line up so they're completely flush, or else they will not, the bottle will not shut. Now this takes some getting used to. Most bottles you can just kind of throw the cap on, forget about it. This is not one of them. You have to be very mindful and make sure that these two parts line up precisely so that the bottle will close. So anyway, that's not my favorite bottle cap, to be honest with you. However, the actual design and the quality of the bottle is very nice. This is 100 milliliter, very heavy, thick glass. It's quite nice. The distribution of the atomizer is very nice, actually very, very nice. So I still have trouble getting the cap on this thing. Anyway, not a fan of the bottle cap. But anyway, it's about what's on the inside of the bottle. That counts, right? So this a lot of times gets compared to Tuxedo, like I said, by Yves Saint Laurent, and to a lesser extent, Mustache by Rochas, the Eau de Parfum version, which is also a rendition, like I said, of Tuxedo by Yves Saint Laurent. Now, this Turathi Brown by Afnan opens up. In the very, very beginning, there's a sharp citrus note. I pick up a tinge of grapefruit, all right? But that does not last. All in all, this is a very sweet, spicy fragrance. So right on the top, there's just a hint of grapefruit, which is really nice, but it doesn't last. And immediately following that is a burst of patchouli. Now, patchouli can sometimes be fresh and earthy. Other times it can be very sweet and rather spicy. This fragrance is definitely on the sweeter, spicy side. It's almost like if you had a sort of a freshly baked cake with some spices added. You could compare that smell to the opening of this Turathi brown. Very nice, very yeah, sweet, but it's more so on the spicy side. It's not like a cloyingly sweet vanilla, you know, typical clubbing fragrance. It has more depth to it than that. So, of course, there's some ozonic notes, which makes this really interesting in the beginning here. Ozonic notes, for example, if you've ever smelled the air, which I'm sure you have, right before it starts to rain, there's that unmistakable smell in the air, right? It's very light, kind of damp smell, ozonic. That has a little bit of this smell in the opening, which I find is very nice. It complements the warm, spicy, sweet patchouli very nicely. And of course, also there's amber. So all in all, it's a very, you know, spicy, ozonic opening here. I think it's very nice. In the mid, we get a little bit of nutmeg here. I'm just gonna spray this on because I'm quite a fan of the opening, to be honest. Oof, yeah. All right. Thank you for closing. Anyway, yeah, so like I said, that delicious grapefruit that unfortunately doesn't last, but anyway, it's okay because the rest of the fragrance is quite nice. Yeah, there's patchouli, definitely the ozonic notes. Now, also there's some amber. There's a little bit of amber in the beginning. The amber makes itself more apparent as the fragrance dries down. Also detecting a rose note. There is a slight rose note in the dry down. Now, this is not a rose forward fragrance. A lot of Middle Eastern style fragrances, you know, the typical combination for a lot of them is rose, oud, and saffron. Now, this does not have any oud, it doesn't have any saffron, but there is some rose here. Now, it doesn't make it feminine, but also, you know, it's something to be mindful of. There's a little bit of rose here in the dry down, which it complements all of the other notes just wonderfully. It's very, very well put together, very well blended scent. You know, there's a little bit of vanilla, but like I said, when this is a sweet, spicy scent, a lot of people would automatically assume that there's a lot of vanilla in it, which is not the case. So it's sweet, but it's ambery. It's more so ambery and spicy from the patchouli, and there's a little bit of nutmeg as well, and a touch of vanilla. And the rose gives it I wouldn't call the rose a sweet note. It's more floral, you know, it's slightly fresh, but you know, if you know what a rose smells like, it's not quite sweet, but it's not quite fresh, you know, it's its own thing. And that lends itself very well to this fragrance here. And in the dry down, you know, it gets woody. There's definitely a warm woodiness in the dry down, which, you know, it's very difficult to find the actual notes listed on the internet from a lot of sources. They don't actually list, you know, official notes, and the notes that you get tend to differ between sources. So I'm going by what I myself perceive in this smell. I definitely feel a creamy sandalwood in the base here. And the rose is, you know, still there. You know, the rose kind of lasts throughout the lifespan of this, which I think is very nice. Ambery, slightly rosy, vanillic, and woody dry down. You know, that's basically the scent here in a nutshell. So I'm gonna go on to performance here. The performance is really good. The performance is really good. I'll tell you, the performance is better than Rochas Moustache Eau de Parfum. 8 hours on my skin as a skin scent, but like I'll tell you, this projects very well for the first 2 hours. You know, arm's length roughly for the first hour and a half. Then it gradually starts to become more of an elbow length. And then, you know, as the hours go on, maybe after hour 4, it starts to get closer to the skin. But this, you know, up until hour 8, this does tend to project. You know, it doesn't stay super close to the skin like a lot of other scents tend to do. Very nice here. So the projection, the longevity are both great. The sillage also great, hangs around in the air around you. And actually, I find the sillage on this to be quite strong. You know, I sprayed this on this morning and I was working here in my home office for, oh, I'll tell you, probably 2 hours. And I got up to make a coffee, so I was in the kitchen for probably 5 minutes. I came back into the office and I could smell this beautiful Turathi brown scent hanging in the air where I had been sitting for the previous 2 hours. So it's, you know, the sillage, it sticks in the air. It's quite powerful in that way. So all in all, the performance is excellent, excellent performance. Now, like I said, this does get compared to Rochas Moustache Eau de Parfum. Now, I will be frank. If you are looking for a direct clone of Tuxedo by Yves Saint Laurent, I recommend the Rochas Moustache Eau de Parfum. That is a closer, it's closer to the original Tuxedo, right? So if you're looking for just a direct clone, I would go with the Rochas Moustache Eau de Parfum. Now, if you're looking for something that's also quite similar, but also takes it a little bit, you know, it veers down its own path slightly with much better performance, mind you, I definitely recommend this one here, right? So this definitely is in the same vein as Tuxedo, but it's a little bit spicier. It's a little bit sweeter. You know, the Tuxedo and the Mustache tend to have, like, they have a freshness, a little bit of a freshness to them, which this does not quite have. Like I said, this is woodier, this is spicy, this is slightly sweeter than the two aforementioned scents. I think, though, you know, it's hard. I'm going to be honest, this isn't the same quality as Tuxedo by YSL. You know, Tuxedo by YSL is over $300 for a 100 milliliter bottle, right? It's very hard to match that type of quality. However, I will say the quality in this is on par with Moustache Eau de Parfum, if not maybe even a little higher quality. And the performance is definitely better. So, you know, this is, it's kind of its own thing. It's a little bit unique in a way without being too divisive. You know, it's not overly challenging, although it's not the same as your typical sweet cold weather scent here. You know, there are differences. I think this is very classy. Anyway, so that's a little summary there. I'm gonna go on to age group here. Which age range would be appropriate for this? I think, you know, age 25 plus, dressed up, you know, for a cool weather event, be perfect. This is great for dates, like a date in a formal setting, for example. I wouldn't wear it in the office. It's a little bit too sensual. You could wear this in the club. You could honestly get away with wearing this in the club. You know, it's I wouldn't call it crowd pleasing, but it's also not going to repel people. It's just a little bit unique as far as a sweet, cool weather scent goes. So I think, yes, if you wanted to wear this in the club, the performance would definitely be able to stand up to that type of environment. You know, and also, you know, situations like that, age 25 plus in a formal, I guess, in a formal event, you know, certain clubs, people dress up a lot. In fact, I think that's kind of the norm. If you go to a dance club, a lot of guys wear long sleeve button-up shirts, you know, girls wear dresses, etc., etc. I think you could definitely wear it in a situation like that. Like I said, business events, maybe not, but like a formal date or, you know, just an outside event in the cool weather. Maybe if you're at a dinner party in an air-conditioned environment or a dinner party outdoors in the fall, yeah, definitely this would be appropriate for that. Yeah, it does, I find, have a bit of maturity to it, not in an old man type of way, but also, like I said, it's not juvenile. It's not a juvenile, typical sweet gourmand, right? Although you could apply it to certain situations in which those types of fragrances would also be worn. Anyway, moving on to the price now. Like I said, this is on par with Rochas Moustache Eau de Parfum. This is a 100 milliliter bottle. You can find this on FragranceNet as of 2 days ago when I checked. 100 milliliter for $66 US. Now, if you apply the FragranceNet coupon, this goes down to $45 US for a 100 milliliter bottle. So it's, you know, much, much cheaper than Tuxedo by Yves Saint Laurent. And it's in the same similar price range as Rochas Moustache Eau de Parfum. So it's not dirt cheap, but also it's you know, pretty affordable for most people out there, right? Especially if you're wanting to add a unique bit to your collection here. I highly recommend this for the cooler weather. Yeah, and you can find it even cheaper than that on certain discounters. Like I said, it used to be quite hard to find in North America. However, now it's getting easier and easier to find it on discounters. So guys, in summary, if you're looking for something in the same vein as Tuxedo by Yves Saint Laurent, but you want to save an immense amount of money, and you want something that maybe veers off in a more spicy, deeper kind of way, I highly recommend picking out Turathi Brown by Afnan. You will not be disappointed with this. This is an amazing fragrance. So anyway, guys, that's the end of another review here. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Like I said, please, if you enjoy my content, subscribe to the channel, and always, you know, a like for the videos. It's also appreciated. So guys, I'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.